to Manifest Her Media Live, the podcast. I'm so happy to be back here with you all another Friday. We have a very special guest coming up today. She is the CEO, the founder, and the author of Diving in Stilettos First. You don't want to miss all the juicy details she has telling us about her journey, what she has coming up next, and how she keeps her audience engaged diving in stilettos. That's hard, y'all. So stay tuned. She's coming up next. Hi, we have our very special guest here today, Shauntay Dunbar. Woo! You know what I need? I need some clapping hands.
Yes, the applause button. Hit it.
How are you today, Shauntay?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited that we were actually able to make this work. We did attempt to do this one time before, and schedules got crazy. Family comes first, and you put everything at a halt and said, nope, I got to tend to family. And I said, I completely understand. So I'm so happy that all is well, and we are able to get back to doing this today.
Yes, me too. Thank you so much for that. So here we are. I'm ready to get going. Let's chat it up.
Yes. So first, tell us about Diving in Stilettos First. What's that all about?
Okay, so Diving in Stilettos First is my book that I wrote and self-published back in 2017. And I talked about my dating life after an annulment. And I was basically diving back into the dating pool of New York City. And if anyone is from New York, baby, you know the trials and tribulations your girl went through. So ultimately, I talk about, me, at this attempt to try to find love again. And what ended up happening was I discovered tons of self-love. And I found out that I was the common denominator in all these relationships. And it was a hard pill to swallow, but to this day, I'm always working on becoming my best self. And I like to encourage others to do the same. So I wrote the book, I did the audio book, and then in 2020, in the pandemic, I did the short film. So yeah, it's coming out.
Wait, hold on, wait, because this is interesting. Something is going on in my world this week. So you found that the common denominator was yourself?
Yeah. So what had happened was, what I've learned is that when you are a light and you want to put, your all into everything, just because you attract these people, it doesn't mean that they deserve your time and your attention. So I had to kind of step back and be like, okay, what is it that I'm kind of putting out here? And just kind of reevaluate like how I was going at this dating thing. And it was all wrong because, you say you know your value, but your actions aren't really showing that you truly know your value. So once I discovered that, I like halted everything and I was like, okay, you know what, girl, you got to get it together.
This is so good. Yeah. Wait. The face you make when you're talking about this is so funny. Does it still sting a little bit to
I mean, honestly, like there's certain things like, reading the book now, I'm like, oh my goodness, girl, like what was wrong, right? Like I've evolved so much since then, but it's still kind of like I'm looking back at some of those stories, I'm like, why did you waste your time? Like red flag after red flag, like, and I'm just like, dude, I'm like, I don't see it. I don't see it. And I think the biggest lesson that I've learned is that you have to accept people for who they are right now in this moment, versus who they were or who they have the potential to be, right?
Mm.
Want to be able to, be somebody like they have to be good where they are. They have to be happy with themselves. Like, I can't make you happy. I can add to it, maybe, pump it up a little bit, but I can't make you happy. And I think that's one of the things that I struggle with because I'm such a fixer. I'm
Yeah.
such a, I'll help you. We can do this together. And meanwhile, I'm filling up their cup and mine is just getting lower, lower, lower. So we have
Right.
to stop that.
That is so big when it comes to knowing your value. And so I think what happens a lot of time is we think about, yes, I know my value. And so we end up sharing our value with all the other people, but it's actually like the reverse effect. Really, it's like, yes, you are valuable, but you don't really truly recognize your value really because you are continually giving it away,
Yeah,
seeking the validation from others of your value. So you're still, you know something is there, but you're still giving it away, waiting for someone else to say you are valuable, you are valuable. And so you have to tell yourself and know for yourself that you are valuable. This is so interesting.
that's the part because if you don't learn that lesson, you constantly repeat it. And what was happening is I was dating the same guy who was just in different forms. So they were teachers, they were doctors, they were lawyers, they did all these amazing
Good on paper.
great on paper, but the personality traits and those like toxic behaviors, they came in so many different forms. And it was like, I've been here before. Why is this so familiar? This doesn't feel good. Like, what
Hmm.
is this? So yeah, now I've learned like if it don't feel right, it don't feel good. Like I trust my gut. Like, and that's with anything in life, honestly.
Right. Okay. So I'm so glad you said that because this is so good. Most of the women that are watching this, we're streaming live. I always got to let you guys know we're streaming live on LinkedIn, on Facebook, and on YouTube, on my pages and Shauntay's pages. So you can check us out everywhere. But in business, what you're saying right now in business is so relative, right? Because there is such a thing. I'm going to write this down so we can talk about this later. There is such a thing as toxic clients.
Yes, there is.
Hold on, we got to write this down. And as you're talking about this to me, this is what is coming up. There is such a thing as toxic clients. There are clients that show up in your life um, that come with the same behaviors and the same patterns. And then
Mm-hmm.
you find yourself feeling the same kind of miserable.
Yep.
And but the common denominator is you. You
Yeah.
are bringing yourself to that table over and over and over.
Mm-hmm.
And I experienced this up until about last year,
Okay.
where I would feel drained at the end of the client relationship
Mm-hmm.
because I was there giving, 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 over giving,
Yeah.
over delivering, just like
Mm-hmm.
in relationships, right? I've been there too. Over
Yep.
giving, over delivering, and expecting the client, just like the man, to be like, "Oh, thank you, Quadira. You saved the day. You did this. You did that." That day never came. What actually would what actually would come, Shante, is them wanting more. Like
Mm-hmm.
you didn't do enough. And
Yeah.
I'm like, what? I just went over my contract. I just overextended. I went, and they're like, no, this. And I'm like, it reminds me of a relationship. Like, no. And so then at some point you have to stand up
Yep.
Remember your value, really know and see your value and say,
Yep.
no, you not getting this part of me. This is what you gonna get, what's on this paper. And it's not because I don't believe in you. It's not because I don't want to help. It's not because everything is tied to a dollar. It's because I value myself and I don't want to be tired and done at the end of this client work relationship.
I think a lot of times what happens is that they you don't really get rewarded for all the extra stuff, right? It kind of becomes this thing of, well, wasn't that what you were supposed to do? Like, they don't know it's extra. You know it's extra. You know you're going above and beyond, but they're kind of just like, yeah, why wouldn't you do that? Because we want it to look good. We want it to, like, that's just a part of it. And I
Just
think,
like men. And
yeah,
so you, I mean, depending on who they are, you're supposed to make me breakfast. Like,
yeah, that's I'm like,
isn't that what women do? Like, why wouldn't you make me breakfast? Wait, you want to starve because you made me breakfast? Like, that's what I'm hearing, and that's what's so I'm mesmerized right now.
really funny. And it's like, you have to sometimes, well, all the time, you have your boundaries, right? And you have to respect your boundaries if you want others to respect your boundaries. If you keep bending and you keep, going along to get along, at the end you are going to be drained, right? You already know your value. You know what you're going to do for these people, these companies or whatever is going to be so spectacular. They're going to love you for it and come back again because you did such a fabulous job. But you can't mistreat me in the process. I'm not
So
going to let
don't mistreat yourself.
people. Don't mistreat yourself. You have to.
Don't go all over town doing all of the things, because boundaries help you stay healthy.
Oh yes. Oh
It helps
yeah.
the client keep a healthy medium. It's just healthy for everybody. Boundaries are healthy for everybody, is what I hear you saying.
Absolutely. It just works. And it's like, it allows me to give you the best and not, hurt myself in the process. And this way, if I'm able to give you the best and I see that it's appreciated or whatever, of course I'm going to want to do more. Of course I'm going to want to figure out how we can work together again. But if you're mistreating me, well, that's not going to make me want to come back. And just like I would love you to leave an amazing review, you would want me to do the same, right? Because we're all connected. And I think it's really important in life, corporate, anywhere, that you watch the people, right? You watch and observe how they treat others, right? You know how they say when you go on a date, pay attention to how your date treats the waiter, right?
Mm.
It's important because you want to see how people treat people that they think can't help them or has no value or anything to boost anything in their lives. If
Yeah,
they're mistreating these people, that's how they are in every aspect of their lives. But if
right.
they're these people, then they've got a kind heart and it's going to show throughout everything that they do in their life. So pay attention, like look at their employees too, right? Read their mission statement, see what they're about. What do they value? What are they donating to? What causes are they supporting? Are they doing anything for, like, employee morale? Because if they're not good to their employees, what do you think they're going to do to you?
Right. Yeah.
So these are all things to, like, pay attention before it's not always, it's honestly, it's not about the money.
Yeah.
It's gonna come regardless. It's
Yep.
about how you're treating people in this process. What are you, offering more that is priceless? There's no monetary
Mhm.
value on that. So
Yes.
people.
So what I just took away from these first 10 minutes was give boundaries help you give the best, and not hurt myself in the process. And we were talking about relationships, y'all, but then we veered on over to business because, I hear things and then I just relate it back to business and leadership and because it's all one and the same. But we skipped right ahead because on ManifestHer Media, as long as I'm hosting, I hear things and my brain just starts going, connecting the dots. But let's get back to 2017. You decided that you were going to be more introspective and you were going to look inward to basically realize or shift, I could say, shift your reality. You wanted to shift your reality and manifest some different things. So you decided to go on this diving in stilettos journey. Where were you when you first started mentally, emotionally, and physically?
Oh gosh. I was working 2 jobs. I was just not operating in my best possible self. Like I was killing myself working for other people, not sleeping, chasing money. And because I had such a hustle, gotta make it, gotta do it. I got something to prove, right? Because I'm not with him anymore. So, like, who am I? Right? Like, I'm not, catering to somebody else's needs. So it's like, what do you want? What do you like? Like, what are you doing? Right? And I had to like stop because I was like, I am like killing myself for what? Like, and it still wasn't like even working 2 jobs, it still wasn't enough money. So I was like, what am I? 3 jobs? Like something's got to give. And so I kind of sat back and kind of analyzed. I was like, I'll tell you what my breaking point was. It was on the second job. I never really shared this story, so this is exclusive.
We love the exclusives.
I was working the second job and it was an overnight job and they have like uniform, right? But there's no customers in there. It's not a so you dress a certain way or whatever. So I would wear these like socks, all right, these like long socks. It was like winter, and I would pull the socks over like my pants and like just, work, putting things on shelves, doing all of that stuff. And I got called in the office by someone who was just not a nice person, but they were in charge, telling me that I need to like redo my socks. Like I can't walk around with these socks. And I'm like, I'm doing my job. People were complimenting me on the socks, which I think was kind of triggering for this person, but that's a whole nother therapy session. And they were just making this big deal over nothing. And I'm sitting here and I'm arguing over like, I don't understand what this has to do with and I had to stop. And I was like, this is not my end all be all. This is not gonna make or break who I'm really supposed to be. Why am I arguing with someone who this is probably as good as it's gonna get in their life? This is their thing. And this is why they're so passionate about me and these damn socks. And I had to stop and I was like, no. Like, this has gone too far. Like I'm in the off, you're arguing with me about that's when I was like, I had enough. So being tired and not really going out like with friends because I'm just driving to work, coming home, showering, going to the next job. Like there's no life there. Yeah. So I was sitting in my car and it was time for my shift and I was just sitting there. And one of my coworkers came and knocked on the window and she was like, girl, you coming in? And I was like, I don't know. She was like, what?
Oh Lord.
The shift was about to start like 10 minutes and I was like, I don't know. She was like, well, I think you better figure it out. You're gonna be late. And I was just like, and I walked in and I was like, yeah, I'm putting in my letter of resignation. I was over it. And the next day I was like, I can't do this. I'm sorry.
So you put in your resignation. Then what do you do?
So then, right, because mind you, to backtrack a little bit, I used to try to go on these dates, right, while I'm working the second job. So I would go on the date like right before I had to go to work. So it was like 5 o'clock. I had a date at 6, and then my shift started at 9 o'clock. So my coworkers at the second job would get so earful of the shenanigans that I went on just with this date. So this is what people were like, oh my God, you're so funny. You have to write a book. Oh my God, I can't believe that happened. You have to write a book. So this
You
is
definitely are so funny.
But this is what's going on, right? Constantly, not really paying attention to it. So now I've put in this letter of resignation. I'm like over it, counting it down. And I was leaving. It was my last day. And one of my coworkers said, like, you have all this free time now, darling. What are you going to do? And I was like, I'm going to write a book. And they was like, okay. And you know how they do that whole, like, good for you. Like,
good for you. Yes. Go and write your little book.
And yeah, about a week later, I was on the train on my way to work, and I was like, I need to write this book. I need to write this book. If anything, to prove everybody wrong that when I say I'm gonna do something, I do it. So I was like, let me just try. Let me see who I would want to write about. And I was like, let's start from the beginning. So I started, talking about, my annulment and how I like transitioned into the dating world. And by the time I got to my lunch break, I was finished with chapter 1, because I was like 2 thumbs firing on my phone, and like how the little notes section, and I was like emailing copies to myself, and then typing it up, and then emailing the new copy and doing it, and I just kept going. And after I finished that first chapter, I was like, who else do I want to write about? Well, let's go in chronological order, and I just story. So like for those who read the book, or those who have listened to the audio, how I speak is how I write. So it's like you feel like you're getting all the tea from me directly. And it's like it's experience with, my family, my friends, the guys that I date, who are obviously the antagonists in the whole story, but the guys that I'm dating, my co-workers, like it's all just life happening, trying to figure out what is going to make Shauntay happy. And so I take you on that journey with me. And I did online dating. I had people hook me up. Like, I know this guy, he's just divorced, he's got 3 kids, but the alimony should be over soon, and child support's not too bad, and blah, blah, blah. I think that would be great. I'm like,
what?
Why do you think we'll be great together? Why? But then, people try to do things from the heart, but I was just like, oh my God. Just meeting people, just going out, how you just that natural way of meeting people in the lounges and all this, like you name it, I did it. And I was just like, oh, you gotta be kidding me.
So if y'all want to get this book, because I definitely do. Oh, that's the wrong link. Get a copy of Shauntay's book, divinginstilettosfirst.com. If it's anything like she says it is, I'm sure it's a riot. And following her on Instagram is definitely a show. You definitely have a personality. I love it. I really love it. Who knew, meeting you at her work circle, that you would be this much of a light and a joy to be around? Girl, these stories sound crazy. Why are you coming over here trying to invite me to go on a date with this man with 3 kids, and the alimony will end soon? What?
Oh my God. And then I named them like these fun, like I named them after their character traits. So, get right, Bagel Boy, Superman.
Like you do with your friends.
Like honestly, like I can text my friends right now, and if I gave somebody the real name, they would be like, "Who?"
Right, exactly.
Oh, sticky fingers. Oh,
Right.
yeah. Like they know what that
Pretty boy, purple suit. Oh, the green tree guy. Yeah, like that. Those names. It's with clients too. It's so funny because, like, if I'm telling my a friend about a client, they don't know the client. They be like, "Oh, you mean the tea person?" I, I don't want to say what they would say, but yeah, like something like that. You know what I mean? But it's crazy. It's funny. Wow. Okay, so what was one of the? How did you come to the conclusion that you were the common denominator? Like, at what point was it? Like by date number 3, were you sitting in the living room one day and a book fell on your head and it was like, ah?
It would probably be towards the last chapter, the last guy,
Mm.
and that he was not honest, and it was like people have an idea of what they consider to be lying, and I think when you omit information purposely, you're lying, right? So he had omitted information, and I had my girls who are FBI agents research some things
Mm.
and I, in a very clever way, presented him with all the information and proof and receipts. And at that point, it was kind of like you just did the most, right? Like,
Mm.
what did you get out of that, right?
Mm.
The moment it was satisfactory because it was like I'm getting the surprise factor. I'm like, ha! I caught you, right? But
Mhm.
then after that, it was like it wasn't like I got the man or like things changed. Like that relationship just did not work. It had to end there because there was no trust. But
Mhm.
something sometimes with women, I don't know, maybe not generalizing all women, but maybe the Aries in me, I don't know, but sometimes we just need to hear you say it. Like, I know what you're doing. I have all the evidence. I know, but I want to hear you tell me, because it's kind of this thing of I'm not crazy and you keep trying to make me
Mm. It's that part.
crazy, right?
It's
And I'm like,
the validation
that's
of
it.
knowing what you know that you know. Like, so it's again back to that word validation.
That's it. And so, like, just being in these like kind of relationships, I was tired. I was really, really tired. And I was like, I cannot do this. I was like throwing myself into my work, which, when your personal life is falling apart, your business life is doing amazing because you're doing the most and everything for this, because you're getting accolades for it. You're getting praise for it.
Yeah.
Like, it feels good that you're doing
Mm.
this. And then it's like when all of that's done, it's like, okay, well, you're sitting with yourself, like, what do I have here? Like, why am I doing all these things and I'm still not happy? Something's not right. Something's got to give. So I started like working out more and like really got conscious of like taking care of my body mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, you name it. I was working on it. And as I discovered information and, learned about things, I wanted to share it. So that's how I started the Dating Tip Tuesdays on my Instagram, because I was like, I'm learning these things about relationships, and it's not only for dating, it's like relationships with your family, relationships with your coworkers. And it was like, it just made me better so
Mm.
that I could be of service better.
Mm.
And that's what I wanted, because that is what really was sparking joy in my life. And then I got into, with the whole pandemic and everything stopped, I got to not be a robot for once and just not operate out of, just hustle. It has to be quick. I have to do it now. If I don't, and I got the opportunity to create my film, because before it was sitting on my vision board and I was like, one day, maybe
Mhm.
maybe Will Packer will find me one day
Mhm.
versus me getting out there, hitting the ground running. Shout out to Five Shorts, project because they coached me and helped me create this film. And
Mm.
I also got into cooking, right? Because in 2017, I stopped eating meat. So now I'm plant based. And so I was like buying things all the time to eat because I'm like, I don't
Right.
know about that. I don't know about that. I'll just buy it. Pandemic, I can't go out and do that. I had to learn. So then I discovered the love of cooking, my plant based meals, and then having
Yeah.
these conversations with people. And food is healing. It was all about healing, and that's something that never ends.
Right.
It can't. No one ever is gonna say, "I'm healed. I'm good. I don't need to." No, it's
Yeah.
constant, right? Because you're always
Mhm.
growing. You're always, entering new territory. You're learning about yourself, so the healing never stops. You do get better at it, right?
Mhm.
You're consistent. So yeah, it was a lot.
I love that. I was just thinking that this week actually. So I've been vivid dreaming this for like, I don't know, 3 weeks or so. But
I
um that was a thought I had in the midnight hour. I woke up and kind of was like, oh, and then I went back to sleep. But the healing never stops.
No, it
Yeah.
it does.
We're always learning.
Yeah, always. And you're learning your limitations and like that it's okay to have those limitations. Like it's okay to say no. It's okay to not pick up your phone. It's okay to cancel. It's okay to, just have a moment for yourself because if I'm not operating at my best self, I'm no good to me or anybody else. That's like, those friends that call and they always got drama, right? And they call you to be the voice of reason. And there's just some days you just don't have the voice. You just don't want to. So you pick up the phone and you're just kind of like, oh, get over it. Like, oh, well, when are you gonna? Okay, so you're doing this. So when are you gonna stop? Huh? When are you gonna make the change? Huh?
Mhm.
And it comes out.
Mhm.
It may be from the heart because you want to help this person, but your delivery is horrible.
Mhm.
And I'm
Yeah.
definitely one of those people. It's not just what you say; it's how you say it. Don't be yelling at me.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
And
Yeah.
it's our responsibility to know, like, you know what, I'm not really in a good space to talk to this person right now, so I'm really not going to answer that right now. I'll come back to it. And once you do that, it just it's better because you don't want to make it worse, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to think you're doing a good job, but you end up hurting somebody's feelings. Like, did you really do a good job with this
Yeah.
person when you
To
put it?
take care of others, you have to take care of yourself first. Like there's no other way for it to be, for you to do it.
Yeah.
So two questions for you. First, why did you name it Diving in Stilettos? I don't think anyone thinks about diving in stilettos. We thinking about when we gonna take them off. Yeah, you want me to dive in stilettos? Wait, hold on.
I think for me, I feel so powerful when I have on heels. I feel so like badass. I can take on the world, you know?
Mhm.
And so around that time, it was like, here I am getting ready to jump back into the dating pool or whatever. But you know what? I'm going to do it with my confidence, with my swag. And instead of diving in feet first, we're going to put some shoes on. We're going to put our stilettos on and we going to go after it like that. I mean, now obviously, with the pandemic and not wearing heels as often, now I'm kind of like Bambi, but I'm getting my stride back.
Yes. There were all those videos circling around of people saying, I just had to break these shoes in. My feet were not getting used to, you have videos of women walking around the house in their stilettos just to make sure you didn't lose it. Was lost a kid ago. But every now and then I still try. But
I
yeah.
hear. Yeah.
So then you decided to take what's in the book
Hmm.
and put it into a film?
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
must be hilarious.
It's so funny.
What?
I think so. It's so funny when because I took a class to do it, right? I had to learn about filmmaking. I've never done it before. So I took the Fox Shorts project class. They're based in Philadelphia. And my producer said to me, I was like, I don't know where to start. I was like, I think it should be just like one big trailer. Like, I'm going to do all the climax and then just boom, 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 boom. And she's like, no.
Oh my goodness.
She was like, yeah, she was like, write a story. She said, write a short story and just see how you tell it. Just see. And I was like, well, there's so much I want to share. And she was like, start from the beginning. She was like, just tell the part that nobody really got to see that you didn't start with in the book. Give us a little behind the scenes. And I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to share that tea. I shared so much tea already. Jesus Christ, like, how much? Doing the Tyrese, what more do you want from me? She was like, just write it. And I'm like, okay. So the film kind of gives you a little bit more of a background of Shauntay's mental space, like where she was emotionally transitioning into this, and the people that that helped her into this transition. And so you see her bonding with one of her coworkers. At some point, somebody's gonna say, "So how's the husband?" You know what I mean? Meanwhile, you done moved out. Stuff is in store. You're functioning at work. You're dying inside, but you're putting that face on, right? Because you have to be professional. And you see her try to figure it out. So she's figuring out, where am I gonna find my happy? So yeah, I'm gonna go to work. I'll talk to this one coworker that's cool, because everybody has that cool coworker, that one. And I'll share as much as I can because it's still a coworker. And then I'm gonna figure out what it is I like. So I'm gonna get my own place to live now. And then I have to figure out what kind of couch I like and what color curtains I want. And these are things that I've never questioned before, because I was always asking him what he wanted and what he liked. And so I didn't even know my taste. So you watch Shawnee, learn who she is before she steps out and is like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna try this. And so that's what the film is about. And you see her get ready to go on her first date.
Wow, I'm drawn in. That sounds so good. Is there a place that we can go and watch the film, or are you going to have a premiere of some kind?
So I've been doing a few premieres. I did actually February, I did one for Black History Month on Facebook. So I think I am gonna do another premiere, another showing, because right now I just enter it in film festivals, which I've won a few awards and gotten some, nominations for stuff, which is really, really nice. I felt seen. My hard work, I felt seen. And so now I'm thinking, I don't know if I want to do a part 2, if I want to turn it into a television series, because it has the mobility to do it. It's just so much to unpack with the character Shawnee. And I think the short film kind of opens up, and you learn to respect her and you love her. You want her to win.
Yeah.
Because you see her in you see her in your, aunts, your cousins, your sisters, you see her. Yeah. You're like, I know this girl.
Yeah.
And you root for her. And so that's the story I want to tell.
How short is the short film?
It's 17 minutes and 58 seconds.
She's like, 17 minutes and 58 seconds of my life, of this story, my blood, sweat, and tears.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It is.
That is really phenomenal, Shauntay. I must say, like, really, I think it's just phenomenal when a woman goes after what she wants. When anyone actually
Yeah.
takes a dream and can turn it into reality,
Yeah.
into a reality, starting from where they are and
Yeah.
not waiting. Because what we do is we like to wait until all the things happen, until all the ducks are in a row,
Yeah.
until everything until. And when we do that, until can never come. Most of the time, it never comes.
Yeah. There is no like perfect time. You just have to do it. And I think that's the other thing I learned about myself is like when I put my mind to it, I do it. Like
Mhm.
because if I don't see it, I need to create it, right? Because I want to see it. And I can't be the only one who wants to see it. So I got to make it. So that's
Yeah.
just how I operate. And then it's also kind of this thing where I'm just like, if not me, then who? What am I waiting for? There's no perfect time. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it messy sometimes. I'm gonna learn and then I'm gonna do it again better. And it's never gonna be perfect, and that's okay. I'm not perfect,
Yeah.
right? I'm who I am, and that's enough.
Correct.
So I'm just gonna keep putting it out there. Somebody likes it. I always think of like Tyler Perry,
Mm.
so criticized, like with everything. Like doesn't matter what this man does, he gets criticism. But it's
One of
like
my favorite stories and people. Uh-huh.
seriously, and I'm like, I remember in college, I went to Morgan State. Tyler Perry's plays used to come to Morgan. I've seen every single one of them. I used to be like an usher, and I used to, everybody dressed to the nines. I mean, when I say girl, the alligator shoes was out. Okay, they was giving what was supposed to be gave. I was like, okay. But I watched his career, and I'm
So
just
beautiful.
so impressed and in awe of the fact that he didn't care. He still does not care about everybody's opinion. He's doing what he loves. He knows what he's been through in his life, and he's doing what he needs to do to one, never go back there again, and two, he's helping others along the way. Say what you want about Tyler Perry. That man hires more black actors than anybody. Anybody.
Hmm. Yeah.
And you have to give him his flowers because he's doing a damn thing. You may not like every style that he does. You may not like all the things, but at the end of the day, it's a bigger picture, and he's doing it. He's doing it. So I'm like, Tyler Perry don't care about what everybody's saying. He just keep going. He don't care if you like Medea or not. He likes Medea.
He likes Medea because he has a connection with that story, and that's what he chooses to continue to put out there. And I mean, while there are so many people talking, there are also a lot of people still going to watch the movies.
Exactly. Listen. I think this probably might have been. Was he nominated for an Oscar or anything, or just
I
attending?
don't know actually, because I didn't really watch the Oscars. So, well, actually, I didn't watch the Oscars because we were doing the Oscars
Party.
party event. So I didn't get to watch the Oscars, but that thing that happened while I'm there doing what we do, somebody came up to me out of the blue. I don't even know this person, and they just started. Did you see what happened? And I was like, what? I said, no, you lying. She was like, oh no, let me flip it out. Let me show you on my phone. And I was like, I'm still dumbfounded. I can't.
And it's so funny because when I say I hardly ever watch the Oscars, like
That's what a lot of people said.
like this is the first time I was like, it's on. I was like, King B is there. She out here in her lime green and her Ivy Park, and Blue Ivy's out there shining, showing the girls what to do. I was just like, Okay.
It was
Okay.
a beautiful night. And when I see all the other behind the scenes things that were happening, I'm like, wow, this looks like it was a really good, successful night, except for that one little
Glitch.
snafu, right? That one little snafu, right? And so I need to stop talking about this. But the same way you said, I do hear this gem, so I'm just going to go ahead and drop it and talk about it. But the same way you talked about you seeing yourself as the common denominator, right?
Yeah.
That there was some things in you that you were allowing. I resonate with this so much that it sounds very much like my dating journey before. So I yes, I'm right there with you in this story. You're right. It reminds me of myself. So we are clamoring for these opportunities, right? Give us the stage, give us the mic, give us all of this.
Yeah.
And then we have this beautiful production being put on. And I'm using us as the self, right? Like imagine this is a collective, and this is our self, and it's from within the self
Go ahead. Get
that the distraction comes.
Yeah.
The the fall and the rise all comes from within the self. And
Yeah.
that's why that work that you did on yourself, really exploring, is so powerful, because the rise and the fall, the success and the failures, all of it all comes from within the self. It's all beautiful. But in this moment that was supposed to be a shining moment, it came from within the self. The destruction. It wasn't destructive because it still was beautiful, but that destruction or that distraction came from within the self, not from anyone else, but from within the self. And that's why introspection, self reflection, self awareness is so important
Yeah. Oh,
for us to succeed as individuals, as collectives. It's important because we've got to know, like you talked about, triggers. We got to know our triggers. We got to have boundaries. You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
We got to be aware. And so I will say this: the one beautiful thing is many beautiful things, but one of the beautiful things that came out of that moment that I loved, and I keep imagining it, and I wish there would have been more, was when Denzel and Tyler
Tyler.
Perry, speaking of Tyler Perry, uh, went over to Will and gave him a talking to. And in my heart and spirit and soul, I keep just thinking to myself, oh, how I wish like 100 black
Mm-hmm.
would have rushed up there and
Yeah.
kind of like gave that support and that lashing and that love at the same time, to say, no, you wrong.
Yeah.
But also, it's this, and this. And I love that Will shared with us that Denzel said, it's at your highest moment that the devil or the enemy, I think he said the devil or the enemy,
Yep.
comes to get you.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And it's not just for us individually, it's as a collective. That moment is it's going to be one of my most memorable moments of how you can self-sabotage and not
Mm,
even be aware of the self-sabotage, because I've self-sabotaged myself
me
many
too.
times, and with anger, not realizing that I was going through something, that it was too much, and I allowed anger to ruin something beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
So
Wow.
that's what I want to make sure. We're talking about manifesting her. and just be mindful of your anger, your emotions. That's why these boundaries are important. Everything you're talking about in Diving and Stilettos
Yeah,
is
it's
so
the
important.
self-awareness. And honestly, like
Self-awareness.
once you become self-aware and as you continue to become self-aware, it's like you cannot undo it. And it's like you have to reevaluate a lot of things. And I found that me trying to just become this best person, I would feel these emotions and I would try to analyze them. Okay, well, why am I feeling
Mm,
this? Well, maybe it's because this, and this, and this, and this. Instead of allowing myself to feel these emotions, because sometimes it's not about getting over it. Sometimes you gotta go through it. And I would not allow myself to go through it. It was always just get over, get over, get over. And it wasn't really helping because I never really got to the grit of why, because I'm so busy trying to distract myself so that I
shaking
can,
it off, shaking it
yeah,
off.
it's fine. I'll date somebody else. It's fine. I'll get another job. It's fine. I'll do this. And it's like, no, like you have to get to the core. You gotta go through sometimes to figure out, like, oh my God, like I'm doing this to myself. Like this is
Yes.
just hard. And now in life, my thing is like there are gonna be challenges and I accept a challenge. But that whole fight, struggle, push and pull, I don't know no more. I don't care what it is. Love,
Mhm.
life. Because for me, it's like, then that's not what I'm supposed to be doing. I
Mm.
as spiritual as I am, I cannot believe that everything that I want or would like to achieve in life, that God is going to be like, well, you better fight for it if you really like,
Yeah.
no. The resistance there, maybe that's not the path. Maybe it's not.
Mm.
Your goal can be
Mhm.
your goal, but you have to learn how to pivot. I learned to do that like in with my jobs, with clients. Like you have to learn how to pivot because you're dealing with so many different personalities and everybody wants to be heard and everybody wants to feel valued. And it's like you don't want one person to feel less than because you're working on something else. So it's just about the balance of it and being able, and you can't do that if you're not balanced yourself. Like if
Mhm.
you have those boundaries yourself, you're gonna constantly be in this and you're gonna always be tired and you're not gonna
Yeah.
be over anybody. So, that's self-aware. Ooh, that's a big one. Oh, that's a big one.
So, I know that you are a woman of many talents. You're a woman of events as well and production. We were talking about that a little bit before we went live.
Yeah.
And so, I have a couple of questions for you so that we can close this out. There might need to be a part two.
I'll come back to you, girl.
Or maybe a live event, in-person event or something, because you are definitely fun to interview.
Thank
So, and to
you.
be with. So let me
Thank
say that.
you.
So what I want to know is, how are you maintaining the relationship with yourself now? And let me preface that by saying, or actually I said it, so I didn't preface it, but let me say that there, as a coach and consultant, specifically for female entrepreneurs, and helping them manifest themselves, like the highest, the best version of themselves and their business.
Yeah.
And we have these moments of the highs. Like, using myself as an example, just a couple of weeks ago, I was on a high. You cannot bring me down.
Yes.
But then after I was done, I was like, I am so tired. I couldn't pick up the phone for anybody. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I just was done. I was
Yeah.
pooted out. Okay. You can tell I have kids with that word that I use. But So, I took a class, a training with my amazing friend, Gigi Diaz last night in her Seizing Happy Tribe. And,
Mhm.
oh, you know Gigi.
Gigi.
So we were in the Seizing Happy Tribe last night, and they were talking about human design.
Mm.
And I know that I am a manifesting generator. And so like there's all these different things that go along with that. But one of the things that the teacher told us, Becca, I don't remember Becca's last name, but Becca was talking to us about lots of things, but manifesting generators, we go hard, we go hard, we go hard, and then it's like, okay. So most of the women that I have coached and consulted over the last decade are visionaries. They are fiery. They are fierce. They are go-getters.
Yes.
But then we all, I recognize, have had those moments of the crash.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, and all of this phenomenal work that you're doing, how do you maintain the relationship with yourself now and as a beautiful, attractive woman who
Oh, thank
still
you.
is out here doing the dang thing when it comes to dating? I
Still that part. Um, it'll come together. Well, one thing that I do for me is to focus on my health.
Yeah.
So I wake up in the morning and, I read a devotional and I meditate now in the morning before I can, even bother to look at social media, let alone return a text message or anything. It's like I have that quiet time for me. And then I get up and either I walk or now I'm jogging now. Look at me.
Woo!
Jogging.
Progress.
Quick steps. I was like, am I running? This is good. So, I start. I exercise every morning. That
Mhm.
is the only way that I feel like I have really given myself some time. And while I'm on these walks or these jogs, or if I'm dancing in my living room, or if I'm strength training, whatever it is, I can think
Mhm.
clear. There's so many ideas and things that I've had pop into my head on a walk, just not even thinking about it. Just like, I'm just gonna walk, I'm just trying to be healthy. And then it's like, I need to look into that. I need to look at this person. And I was
You
like,
must be a manifesting generator too, because that sounds like my life.
like, oh, that's how I connect that. Oh my God. Like, and I get so excited. And that's probably what sparks the run. I'm like, oh, I gotta get back to the house.
Yes.
but that's it, right? And then I think about like with like food now. I'm like, because before I was exercising a little bit, but I was so tired afterward. It was like it would take me a few more days before I started exercising again, and then I had to reanalyze my nutrition. Right, like it wasn't just about cutting calories; it was about what are the nutrients that are in the food. When am I putting them up? Why am I tired?
Yeah.
Like, okay, so I had this piece of cheese. I love cheese, but it makes me tired. It makes me bloated. It makes me uncomfortable. And I'm like, why are you torturing yourself? Why are you doing this? Find an alternative,
Mm.
right? Like, or if I was like, I used to like coffee, right? I was like, oh, I want my iced coffee. And I'm so fancy. My iced coffee, Starbucks. I
I'm
had
so fancy with my iced coffee. Come on.
it
Speak
was
on it, Shauntay. Let's go.
fun. And I was like, okay, so if I didn't have it for a while, I decided to like detox or something like that, then I would have a headache. And I was like, that's not good. That caffeine
Mm.
headache. So then I had to kind of switch that up. So I was started working with like plant-based chefs when I do my cooking show on Thursdays. And they really know the food, and they really know that food can heal you, can heal your gut. That's the big thing now, right? Gut health. Everything goes in like phases, right? So now it's about gut health. And I was like, when I changed my dieting, and you know what, I didn't even use the word dieting. When I made the healthy lifestyle
Yes.
change and
Lifestyle
started
change.
about what I put in my body, I felt good. I felt good.
Yeah.
And I was like, I went to the beach 2 weeks ago, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna take a picture in this bikini. I'm gonna take a few pictures, and I'm gonna post it because I'm proud of me. Like I did that. You know, I lost the 10 pounds, and now I'm like, okay, well, maybe I want to lose a little more. Maybe I just want to tone. And my thing is that I gave up on the whole idea of caring about other people's opinions of what I did, how I did it, when I did it, who I did it with. None of your business. What makes me happy, I'm gonna do what makes me happy, and I'm gonna share it. And if it resonates with you, then let's do it together, right?
Yeah.
You got a partner, you got a friend in me, but I'm not gonna go through the criticizing and the whole, you know, sometimes people like, you know, because on social media when people get familiar and they really like you, they feel like really connected, right? And they feel like
Yeah.
they can tell you
Right.
things that they ain't got no business telling you. And I take it, you know, I'm very graceful with it, but I know, like, yeah, okay, so I can't really give you too much attention because you think really, you think we family out here, like, me like that, like,
Right. Yeah.
so you know, it's just I'm learning to like just take breaks, take time out, learning that no is a complete sentence, not feeling away it. You know, we want to give so much to everybody. We want to help. We want to be there. But if I'm not exercising or I'm not taking that time to meditate, I'm a very different person. And I don't really like that part, right? And it's like the yin and the yang, right? As nice as I can be, as mean as I can be, you know, as sweet as I can be, as sour as I can be. And I want to stay on the good, positive part. So I what I need to do so I can stay there because I enjoy that. That's how I'm able to manifest her. That's how I'm able to talk to my future self and be like, girl, how did we get here? This is nice. I like it. Like, and then
I got something for you. I'm gonna share it with you after, but that's exactly like everything you just said is what I'm about. It's so good. And the health part of it, when I feel like this, so like the way I'm feeling today, I know it's directly related to health. And I already hit up my health coach. When was it? Tuesday. I was like, girl, we're going to have to do something. So I was like, I know I'm tired. Something, you know, not tired, but tired.
yes. Okay.
So, but it was that trip. The trip was so good, but at the same time, it was so exhausting. So while others were there to be taken care of, I was there to work.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? I have to now truly self-care, right? And the self-care that I'm talking about is like self-care that comes from the inside and then it works its way out. It's not necessarily like going to get my nails done or any of that stuff. For me, self-care starts with quiet. My self-care starts out with quiet. The other day, everybody went to the grocery store in this house together. And I was sitting on the couch and I was like, oh, oh. And it really like, it hit me. I was like, oh.
Nice.
I was like, I said, I like this sound. This feels good. And I just sat there and I wanted to get up and do stuff, but I couldn't move because it just felt so good. The quiet was like soothing to my mind, my spirit, my soul. I was like, whoa, I didn't realize I haven't had this in weeks.
Yeah.
And so having just that moment actually helped me get back on track. And then all the other things I was talking about in the Season Happy Tribe and stuff like that. So
That's it.
you said a word though that I have to make sure we bring up again, and we're gonna have to do a whole nother talk on this, okay? I'm gonna have to talk to my coach about this, okay? Because this is the real deal. When it comes to our health, we have got to talk about how many of the things we do just so we could be able to say we did it, or for appearances like our fancy latte. And the truth is, yes, that latte tastes good and all of that stuff. But if it's hurting you, why keep going? Why keep doing it?
Yeah.
If the cheese doesn't make you feel good, why keep eating it?
Right.
Are you eating it because you really like it? Because if you really liked it, would you be feeling this way after? It's just that part. Come on now. It's just that part.
That's it. That's it.
So when you said the fancy latte, that's that part got me, because I really used to be like a Starbucks queen. So, that part, that just really got me. So I know you've been to a lot of events, and I want to know, what's the best event you've ever been to?
Oh my gosh, that's hard. The best event out here, or just in general?
I see you're trying to make it easier for yourself, but just know in general.
Oh, what? The best event I've been
The most
to.
memorable. Like, what really, hits you, makes you say, oh, I love that event.
You know, an event that will always have a special place in my heart. It was a WIM Global event. And shout out
Women
to
in Media Global.
Yes, shout out to Miss Danielle Jeter. And what I loved about it, I was a vendor. I had my book. I was, it was my first event, right? And I got to meet other authors. But what I loved about the event was it felt like community, right?
Mm-hmm.
I met so many wonderful people that I still talk to this day and do amazing things with. And it was such an energy in there of positivity, of encouragement, of just love, of, let's teach each other, right? And there were like these breakout sessions, and you went to different rooms, and, you got some motivational speaking, you got some things to grow your business, you got, things to just inspire you. And just that event, I would say, is, if I could go to those kind of events like all the time.
It's about, what I hear people saying whenever I ask that question, it's about the energy.
Yeah.
Like, the rooms that have the best energy are the rooms that win. Not all the production or any of that. All of that is great, but if you don't have the energy in the room to match it, then
and then even like everyone who got on the microphone was fantastic, and just the people who were sitting next to you. It's like we all spoke life into each other, and those are the events that we need more of. Everybody wanted to help each other. There was no competition in that room. It was just encouragement, and those are the events that I love those.
Well, shout out to an event like that I do know of coming up. It actually belongs to my health coach, so we're going to shout her out right quick, Michelle Fletcher. I believe it's happening Thursday, April 21st, or is Thursday the 22nd? Is that a 21st or a 22nd? Let me see.
Let me see my calendar. It's Thursday the 21st.
Okay, so Thursday the 21st, we're going to be at Nailed It with the Holistic Health and Networking event. And when I tell you that the energy in the room, listen, the energy in the room is freaking crazy. I remember the last event she had, which was 2 months ago, I think, 2 months ago.
Yeah.
I called Babe on the way home, and he was like, oh, how was your event? I was like, that event was phenomenal. Like that's, I was like, it was great. I was like, yes. And I called Michelle when I got home. I was like, you killed that. Like, it was so good. The energy was amazing. There were heartfelt conversations, real networking happening. So I'm not just talking about it just because I'm talking about it, because it really was like the bee's knees. So
love it.
I have two more questions for you, and then we're gonna wrap this up. I keep saying that, but you're just so good. What am I gonna do here with you? What do you believe fear is?
What I believe fear is connected to the word can't. To me, it's like this. Sometimes because you've never seen it done, you think it can't be done, and you just wrap your head around like, well, I can't do it. It's never been done, and that's something that we have to get rid of, right? The word can't and the word fear, because it's just everybody talks about like purpose and why you're here and all this other stuff. And I think, life is really it's an experiment. Right? We're all trying to figure it out. We don't know. Like you could say, like, I know my purpose. I know why I'm here. I'm, whatever. And it's like, are you really sure? Like right?
Yeah. No, really. The one thing I discovered years ago, it was after I had my first daughter, was that I really don't know anything at all. Our 3-year-old is so funny. My 3-year-old, she has this thing that she says all the time. She's like, that don't make sense. She'll tell you quick something don't make sense. She'll be like, that don't make sense. So if you say, why Nomi? Why doesn't it make? She'd be like, well, it do, but it don't, but it don't, but it do. But it do, but it don't. So my 13-year-old said to her one day in the car, she goes, Nomi, you need to stop saying that, because you don't even know. It does make sense. And I said, I don't know, Naira. She kind of has a point here. Because her other thing is, I know everything. And so Naira said to the 3-year-old, Nomi, you don't know everything. And Naomi looked at her and said, I do. And Naira said, I don't. And then Naomi said, I do, but I don't, but I do, but I don't. That makes sense. And I said, whoa. I said, mic drop, Naira. She just told you. It's true. She knows everything, but she don't, but she does. But what she knows is that she don't know everything, but she knows everything. So if you don't know everything, the smartest thing you can do is realize that you know everything, but you don't know everything. That part. It all makes sense.
It makes sense to me. That is a perfect. Knowing everything is knowing that you don't know everything.
She keeps saying this at 3. That is crazy to me.
He is a prophet.
Okay. Right. And then the last question is, what do you believe or know for sure about money that you want to share with all of our manifestors?
That it's energy, that it is constantly flowing, and that it's always going to come. It's always going to be there. You just have to figure out the space in which you are allowing yourself to receive it, right? Because it's going to come, right? I saw this thing and the girl was like, she did this big move, which I resonated with, and it was just trying to figure out like, how am I gonna like pay these bills? How am I gonna do this other stuff? And the thing was that people complain about bills, right? Just like people are complaining about gas right now, right? It's so high, it's so high. But what they're failing to realize is that you have the energy source to constantly get it. You put that gas in your car no matter how much it costs. You're buying those groceries no matter how much they cost. You're stacking up on the toilet paper and the paper towels and all that other stuff, no matter how much it costs, because it's a constant flow. This is what I do. This is what I have to do. I'm grateful. I'm happy that, yeah, okay, I have bills, but I'm grateful that I'm able to pay them. I'm grateful I'm able to pay them on time. I'm grateful because it's going to keep on. I have the money to do it. I have the energy flow. I accept it. And like, I'm not sitting here talking about like, that I've had this great relationship with money my whole entire life. This is learned behavior now of what
Come
I'm doing.
on now. This money talk is learned behavior.
Learned behavior. You have to want to put in the work to understand it so that you can appreciate it. And no, so many people like you grow up and it's like that old school, oh, more money, more problems. Oh, money's the root of all ill. It's not. It's not.
Let's
Money.
get rid of that.
Yeah.
We love you, Biggie, but we might have to turn that off for a little bit. Just a little bit.
Little bit. Because it's more so about what it can provide for you. You want happiness. You want to be able to travel. You want to be able to do these wonderful things. Money is a tool that can help you do those things. So why don't we have a good relationship with it so that we can be like, okay, money, I see you like me, I like you. Okay, what we gonna do to that? We gonna interact.
Woo, come on, Shauntay.
And I think we can do this together. You know what I'm saying? You gotta change your perspective.
I am so going to use that like starting today. Come on, money. I see you. You like me. I like you. What? I hear the money angels right now showering upon me. I am excited.
That's it. That's what it is.
Woo, you just delivered somebody. Starting with me, girl. Starting with me. All right. So I got rapid fire for you. And then we're going to close this out in the most powerful way that we always do. So meditation or prayer?
Both. Sorry.
Both. Coffee or tea?
Tea.
Reading books or audiobooks?
Audiobooks.
Home cooked food or restaurant, 5-star restaurant food?
Ooh, Michelin? You talking Michelin star? Or Michelin star? I like presentation, so I'm going for the Michelin star, okay? Don't you throwing stuff in the plate, okay? You need to make it look nice.
That remind me of something, but I ain't gonna say it because I don't want to embarrass anybody. But it cracks me up every time I see it when somebody put that presentation. Okay, I'm not gonna say it. I ain't saying it. Just hear what Shauntay said, y'all. Presentation. Okay. Do it yourself course or coaches and consultants?
Oh, it depends on what it is.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on what it is. Like a do-it-yourself, I'm here for a DIY project.
Mm-hmm.
There's just certain things that I just don't know, and coaches and consultants definitely come in handy because they just offer more perspective.
Yeah,
you're going to be learning anyway, so
yeah,
take advantage. So yeah.
General admission or VIP?
I
Say it loud and proud. I'm VIP. Everybody always looks to the side when they feel like, oh, I'm a VIP. I'm VIP. I like VIP. Especially if you're wearing stilettos, because general admission, you got to stand in lines with stilettos. So no.
No, ma'am.
Virtual or face to face?
Oh, I like face to face.
Okay, cool. There's no right or wrong answer. It's just perspective.
I just, thing, bring it in,
So last thing we always like to do is we like you to look into the camera. I'm going to remove myself from the camera. And I want you to look at all the women here, tell them who you are, and say, dear woman, I am Shauntay Dunbar. You can say CEO, author of Diving in Stilettos. And I want you to know more than anything else. So tell them what you want them to know.
Goodness. Okay. So.
Bye-bye. You go and I'll be back.
Okay. Hello, beautiful ladies. My name is Shauntay Dunbar. I am the CEO and founder of Diving into Stilettos First. I'm an author, I'm a filmmaker, I'm a creative. And the one thing that I want you all to know is that you should always be encouraged to share your story because it is therapeutic, not just for you and your healing process, but you can definitely help somebody along the way. So don't be afraid to share, don't be ashamed. Sometimes we need that release. And once we do it, gosh, doors just open up, things just start happening. And yeah, you are truly operating in your best self because there's nothing to hide, right? You got it. So, yeah, that's my message. Go be great.
I love that. Thank you, Shauntay. Oh my God. So we are going to put down here again how you all can go and get the book,
Yeah.
right? And there's just so many things, so many possibilities. But what do you want us to know that you have coming up next? You want us to keep our eyes and ears, open for? Because I definitely know that people want to be around you. Your energy is freaking contagious.
Thank you. So I'm working on a new show. It is a plant-based competition show, and I will be looking for contestants to participate. I have wonderful prizes for everybody. It will be filmed, and we're gonna pitch this to a network. We're gonna get this going, and it's nothing you've ever seen before. So if you are into cooking competition shows, stay tuned. I got you covered.
This is so amazing. So everyone, I just want you to join me in giving Shauntay a round of applause for joining us today. And make sure you go follow her on Instagram. She is a hoot. She is a riot. And she also reveals to us some really amazing places. Some places I didn't even know were here in South Florida, but, and around the country as she travels and does her thing. So also, I just want to remind everyone what we do here at ManifestHer Media. We help women manifest her. Who is she? The woman you see in your life and business dreams. If you have any questions, you have any thoughts, you want to talk to me about your projects, upcoming events, please feel free to check me out on linktree.com, or you can follow us on ManifestHer Media. But until then, like Shauntay said, please go out into the world today and be your best, greatest self, and know that all that you want starts inside of you. Thank you so much.